Oh, no. There you go. Good afternoon, Tiger.
Hi, Paul. Are you okay, darling?
Yeah, yeah. We got there in the end, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Blue background, nice and blue for Man City fans.
And you know what? I've known you for a long time, and I don't actually know when you got the nickname Tiger.
That's when I first started school in the first year, and my sister bleached my hair fucking blonde at the front, but it went yellow. So when I combed it back, I had streaks in my hair. So some kid called Buzzer just ended up calling me Tiger, and it just stuck. Everybody in school called me Tiger.
I know that when people I mean this is like a small part of your life, but when people talk about Paradise and Mantos and the number one club, the name Tiger always comes up very early in the conversation.
Yeah, well, worked most of the places. If we went behind the bar, it was on the other side. So, yeah, I quite know quite a lot of people from, all over the place, really.
Yeah, yeah. And when did you come out, Billy? Billy, I
I
said Billy
first
then,
came
didn't I,
out,
Tiger? I said
you
Billy
what?
then, accident.
No, right, yeah, no, that's Billy Bitch. I'm Lilla. First came out in 1979. I was only 16. Um, lived in Wythenshawe. Got a job on Bridge Street, which was Deansgate area of Manchester.
Yeah,
So I used to work in the Granada dry cleaners, doing the shirts for all the barristers and people from the court. They all used to come and we used to do the shirts and have all the mooch. So I was working there with a girl and we were walking home one day up John Dalton Street. And as we passed Bridgefield Street, where Venus backdoor entrance is, someone bid the horn at me. And it was as I walked past, and then I was like, pretty, long, wedged hair, and quite, bouncy in my joggers and my little moccasins and I don't know, just things. Someone bid their own. And I thought, no, it's not me. Went to carry on walking again. And the arm went again. And I thought, who is that? It must be someone that I know. So I walked down Richfield Street and it was like a beautiful Jaguar or something like that. Beautiful car. And there was a black guy in it. So he said, do you work round here? And I said, yeah, I just work at the thing. And he said, oh, are you from Wythenshawe? And I said, yeah. He said, how do you know that? And he said, oh, just like from your look and that. He said, are you a model? And I was like, don't think a model. I said, no. He said, would you like to be one? And
uh,
I was like, this guy, I'm the fucking taking the piss or what?
yeah,
So he starts chatting to him and what have you. I sent the girl on her way. She mooched off. So I was talking to this black guy. It turns out that he was like some mad gangster from Liverpool, very well known. So I was chatting to him and this, that, and the other. And then Phil Clegg came out of Heroes and was stood at the door. So he said, oh, that's my friend there. He owns a nightclub. I'm waiting for him. So I said, oh, right. And he said, do you want to go for a drink? We'll talk about your modeling. So I said, yeah, all right then. So we ended up going in the bar next door, which previously used to be called Sims, but then
yeah,
it changed names to Bernard Bar, Bernard Slingsby, who owned the other nightclub down the side of Rylands Library. I think
yeah.
it was called Annabelle's or Slingsby's. So we ended up going in that bar, having a little chat and that. And it sort of like dawned on me that it was like a gay place, there was like, I still wasn't out. I was mooching and doing a bit here and there, but, you know, didn't know anything of the gay scene type thing. So I thought like I'd drink with these guys and then like mooched up. So I had two gay friends, well, three gay friends in Wythenshawe that knew that we were out. So I said to him, I said, oh, I'm sure I am. Come on, should we go at weekend and get out? So me and my friend Steve and Webb ended up mooching into town, found this bar that I'd gone in, and it was like on the corner of the thing. Do you remember South? Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it was South.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
South nightclub that
yeah,
they were then. So there was like a big step that you dropped down and went in. So we walked past it about 3 or 4 times, and then boost just dropped into it. And then there was like a landing, all fish tanks and everything there. You went down the stairs, and then it was like all glass doors, full length bar. I think it was a restaurant in the daytime, but not like a posh restaurant. Um, the clientele around there, it was Kendall and all the hairdressers type stuff. So we ended up going there. Bernard sat at the end of the bar. Put a tiger in your tank, he used to say every time I walked in the bar. And he was like a real character, Bernard. He was fabulous. So we were only young, 16, 17 at the time, 16, but never had no trouble. Went in, got a drink, went and sat down and, just chilled out. So that was my first introduction to the gay scene. So from there, it was like at that time as well, it was like a bit underground. You couldn't admit that you were gay.
yeah,
It was like I used to identify as a dirty, queer, bent bastard. If someone said, "Are you gay?" I'd
yeah,
say, "No, I'm a dirty, queer, bent bastard." Why? Why?
yeah,
Have you got a problem with it? I was quite upfront with my sexuality
yeah,
in town and thinking, not so much at home, but all my friends knew.
yeah,
And then in them days as well, we were like more of the alternative, not punk rockers. After punk and thing, it's all like went alternative. So I was into Echo and the Bunnymen, Susie and the Banshees, the Damned, all that kind of stuff, post punk type
yeah,
stuff. So we used to go to the Ritz on Monday, the Crunchy Club at the number one on a Tuesday. I think it was also half price drinks in the number one
yeah,
Wednesday. And then Thursday, um, I think that was the staff night. Later on, it became the staff night. And then Friday and Saturday was just like Heroes, the main
yeah,
nightclub. So we used to do we used to get on the bus at the in Wivenshaw, New All Green, and
yeah,
there'd be about 10 of us that would all meet. They'd get on at Civic, they'd get on at thing. So by the time we got to New All Green, there was like 10 of us on the back of the bus, all we drinks, hiding, buying a can of Coke and getting on the bus and then getting the vodka out. So by the time we got off the bus, we were leathered. So we'd usually get off at Sackville Gardens, stagger through the gardens, hide our booze in the bushes, and then go to in the Thompson. In them days as well, there was only the Union, the Rembrandt, the Thompsons. New York hadn't had the extension then, so that was just like a little small bar that we didn't. So we all used to go in the Thompsons because it was like quite nap and some gorgeous red boys and scally lads were about there. So we'd always go in there and have a drink before we went over to Deansgate. Um, so then we'd go to Bernard's, go to Heroes. Then we come out of Heroes and we go to DeVille's. There used to be a nightclub called Berlin,
yeah, yeah,
apartment 38.
yeah,
They were all in that area
yeah,
around Pendles type thing. All the hairdressers, all the shush brigade, they all used to go in there. So Sundays, I think it was like cheap drinks. I think it was like 75p for a can. So
yeah,
everyone used to go out. We'd have 4 cans on a Sunday, and you'd be paid on £3.
yeah,
So Sunday was quite a good night. for Bernard's Bar. Everybody, all the staff weren't working. So it was a bit of a staff night as well, where all the people that worked in town all sort of like congregated on a Sunday in Bernard.
Yeah, yeah.
And then Heroes at Cloud 9 as well. We used to go to Cloud 9,
Was that
Pips
near
as well.
Spinning?
Pardon?
Was that near Spinning Records
Yeah,
Club?
right next door to Spinning. And
Yeah,
all in them days as well, it was like all the music was a bit reggae and a bit, soul-y but Spinning used to have all the imports like Italian disco, American thing. It was like the shop to buy all your records
did
from.
they used to do
If
disco in there?
Pardon?
Did they used to do disco in Spinning?
No, they weren't a disco, but you could go in and they'd play the records and you could
Yeah.
listen to them and
No, no,
everything.
sorry, I meant like did they used to import disco records? I
Yeah,
knew
all of it.
that.
American, Italian, type, high energy, American disco. It was all white labels.
Yeah,
Spinning was the place that
yeah,
would say they started Manchester off with all the American imports and all the American music, Chicago house and all that. I'm sure it all came through Spinning, maybe later Eastern Bloc or
yeah,
places like that.
yeah,
But at the time, there was only Spinning.
yeah,
So, uh, so when everyone was going to because we go to the punk clubs because the boys would wear makeup. So we'd never get any hassle. You could camp it up, you could do what you want. Most of my friends were wearing makeup. I never really was one for it. I was more of a Necko and the Bunny fan with spiky hair and old coats and granddad collar shirts and awning trousers. So so that's how it all sort of like started off. And the main area was really Deansgate. You'd never go into the village. It was nowhere. There was nowhere really to go, for
yeah,
young, trendy, uh, gay lads type thing. It was all a bit seedy.
yeah,
But then we ended up like going working away in 1980 to the Channel Islands. So we were away for the summer and then back for the winter. And while we were away and backwards and forwards, a new club had opened in the village or on Princess Street that was down one of the little alleys, and it was called High Society.
yeah,
So High Society was it Brian from Coronation Street or one of the what's he called, that guy, Peter Stringfellow? It
yeah,
was
yeah,
one of their clubs that they'd set up. It was beautiful inside. It was like a proper posh, all mirrored ceilings, four pillars coming down on either side of the dance floor, and one of them dance floors that lit up like the John Travolta one with the
yeah,
squares. So it was great in there. So I think that was open up till like 86 when Glenn Stevens extended the New York, New York. So we were there for 8. I started work on Christmas Day, 1984, because none of the staff had worked. So they wanted to have a little bit of a party for the regulars. And I ended up, my friend Peter said, will you just do the bar for tonight? So I said, yeah, of course I will. So that's how I started working
yeah.
on the day scene, 1984, Christmas Day. So that was a great club. It used to do all the that kind of music, high energy. There was no house or anything of that to talk about in 86. Maybe 87, I think the acid house started coming in.
Do you
So
know
I
what,
think that
Tiger? I
was,
remember High Energy shop near where the taxi rank is. There was a shop that sold high energy in the village.
oh yeah, well, that was the same guy. That's his Les Cockle, who was the DJ at Heroes,
Yeah,
and he was the one. He was brilliant, Les. absolutely brilliant. He brought
Yeah,
all the music from everywhere, and it was like, I don't know, Grace Jones and Dan Parrish, and all that kind of
yeah,
music.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, you were saying like house music. It's all right, yeah, yeah,
yeah, so there was no real. So I 87. I think we all used to go to number one, and it was on the Tuesday when Michelle used to DJ, and it
yeah,
was the indie crowd. It was all lesbians, gay boys, but more of the alternative crowd. So we were mainly on that kind of crowd. We didn't do Friday or Saturday because we were working. We were in the bars. I was upstairs in the New York till 2 a.m. And number one closed at 2 a.m. But then when I moved from the nightclub and started working at Central Park, I finished at 11 o'clock, quarter past 11. And Jeff Bibby had just sold the club. And Darren Hardy and what's it called? Bucket. David Cook, who used to run Eurosauna in Stretford,
yeah,
they bought it. So Tim Lennox was DJing, Carly behind the bar, Myrna, Ray Dargo behind the bar, Sharon, Jeep Sharon. Um, so I don't know, it just slowly progressed that the Saturday nights were getting better and better and
yeah,
better.
yeah,
And it was maybe when Ecstasy first came round. And
yeah,
I'd say that was like 80, well, maybe 88, 89,
yeah,
when he first come in the number one club.
yeah.
And it was from a barber who used to work on Oldham Street. He was like the first one to bring it into the club. So I think it was like £15 or something then. And in them days, we all used to be tripping. It was like £3 for a little strawberry. So we used to have a little strawberry, go to the number one, get off our bases, be awake all night, have a dance, have a boogie. But that closed at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So then there was nowhere to go. I think Flesh was the first one to get 4 a.m. license. And it was like, for a 4 a.m. license in Manchester, it was like something special then
You know
because
what?
we
I
had
forgot that.
Anderson.
I
Yeah,
forgot
we
that
had
Flash open
Anderson
later.
in the background as well, trying to stop us dancing with each other. On a
Yeah.
Sunday, they used to put chairs all over the dance floor so you couldn't even stand and talk to your friend. It was like, but we got round that by giving food away. You used to do like a big pan of stew, and if you were eating, then you were allowed to drink. It was just really stupid laws that were out then. I think the pub's still closed as well from 1:30 till 3:30 or something in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So my introduction to the dance scene was at the number one club Saturday nights. Um, it was great. There was all different crowds in there as well. It wasn't 100% gay. It was like, I don't know, a third of it was straight. There
Yeah.
used to be like Gary Marto and Dale, and quite a few guys used to come from Urmston,
Yeah.
the Quadrant, and they were dead chilled out. They didn't have no problem with anybody thing. Then there was like the Shush Brigade, who what we called the pissy posse, and they were all like the fashion victims, all the rich, sort of like uh, gay boys and hairdressers and dirty and happy, thought they were better than everyone else. I think they used to call us the wannabe straight posse.
Yeah.
And it was like me, Davinia, Julian, Big Baby, Jamie. And there was like a little gang of us, but we had sort of like the Vogers. All our friends were like the ones that used to vogue before voguing became fashionable type thing. Then all the Scousers came over. And there was quite a big contingency of all the Liverpool crowd that used to come to the number one.
Yeah.
Then the Urmston lot. And it was like, I don't know, you could sub the drunk. Everybody just used to be like, get friendly. I used to take acid and it was like £3. And he in them days was like 15. And I used to think, face on
I
£3
think it was
worth.
dearer,
What am I going to be like on £15 worth? I
I've
didn't
done a video.
realise it was a completely different drug.
I think they were
So
more expensive, Tiger. Like I've done a couple of videos with Jeff the chef now, and I think
yeah,
they were like £25 at times.
no, when they first came out, they were 25 quid-ish, I would say, when they very first came out.
Yeah, yeah,
But as soon as anyone's used to be druggy Malcolm as well, and she used to skip round the number one, ease, trips, weed, what you want? She'd have a little bum bag on, and whatever you wanted was there. There was no, it's always been like that, really, on the gay scene.
yeah,
Everybody was partying, you needed something to stay awake. We used to take dodos and dustpan when we first came out, which were slimming tablets for
yeah.
women. And we used to take them and you'd be whizzing your face off all night. But then, like when Ecstasy came out, it was the number one. The village didn't have a clue about Ecstasy, maybe for 3 years after it was happening in the number one. So I'd say that's where everything really stems from, is from the number one club. From there, Manto opened, from Manto, Paradise opened, from Paradise, I think Flesh started, was that 94? But it
I've lost
all really
time
stems
frame now.
from the number one club. All the people that used to do there have all done really well for themselves now. Columnists for the Standard in London. They're all
Yeah,
club owners. They've all done well for themselves, all of them. But
I,
it was Tim Lennox at the number one that started it all off, I would say.
yeah. I remember like I was into house music when I was at school, and I used to
Yeah,
buy books from spinning, and then I was surprised that some some of the older friends who left school that were going into a gay club that called the Number One Club, and they were saying that was the only club that plays house music. So everyone's got
well,
their
it
own
was
version of
on the
history.
gay scene.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was for the gay scene. It was like a mini Hacienda, the number one club. It was like
yeah,
the most brilliant club that you've ever been in. Everybody
yeah,
used to go and sit on the back stairs. There was like a fire escape at the back, so everyone used to go have a little joint and come up, take your pill, and sit on the stairs. And then Tim had put one record on, and the stairs again, and
yeah,
everybody, oh, record, record. So everyone was just whoosh on the dance floor. And you'd be banging out and everything on the back stairs, and then they play. Tim had put a record on, and everyone had just whoosh. And it was just brilliant. The atmosphere with the people, you'd never had it before where everyone was dead friendly. In
yeah,
the 70s and the alcohol and the football hooligan type thing, it was like, on the gay scene, there was sort of like a bit of an hierarchy of, who are you and who aren't you. So
yeah,
I think Ecstasy stopped that. So it brought everybody together, and
yeah,
everybody, it's like a family,
yeah,
real family in the number one club.
yeah,
But then through that as well, we also had the HIV going on and the AIDS. So you go in the number one week, you go in the week after, and two or three of your friends wasn't there. And it was
yeah,
like, where's blah blah, where's oh, they died. And
yeah,
it was like, part of it as well was that we were thinking we're all gonna die.
yeah,
So we thought, okay, we'll just get off our faces and dance till we fucking die. And really, quite a lot of people did that. They'd go out at weekend and they weren't there the week after. And
yeah,
it was really sad,
yeah.
really sad time that we went through with all of that. But there used to be a record as well by a diva,
Don't
Don't
let it
Let
show
It
on your
Show on Your
face.
Face.
Yeah,
And when that played in the number one, it was like a secret code for everybody. And we all knew all our friends and who was and who wasn't HIV. We didn't sort of hide it from our close friends. So when they play something like a diva, Don't Let It Show on Your Face, it really meant something. And it was like, yeah, let's just fucking dance, you know. If we die, we die. It was that kind of thing
Yeah.
with everybody.
God,
So
I never knew that. A bit of a shiver there, like when you're saying that.
yeah,
I
yeah,
knew
there's a
that that
few of
track
the
was massive.
tunes though. There's a few of them tunes that only us would know about them, the number one raver type. But there are tunes that, you know, that have different meanings. They really meant something.
Yeah, I knew that was a big track in the number one, but I didn't know why.
Yeah, Perfecto Mix, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It was
I-
like the only place you could get hard music as well. I was a bit of a techno tar, if you'd say that. You know, I used to like the heavier kind of music that they played in the number one. I want really one for the handbag house, you
yeah,
know, more of the hardcore.
yeah,
After the number one was going as well, I'd say for about 3 years in full swing, 90 to 93, maybe 89 to 93.
yeah,
But then Cookie and Darren ended up um, going into debt because the club was only really busy on the Tuesday, maybe Friday for Bleak with Lee and Elton. They used to do a night on the Friday night. That was a good night. It was all the trendy fashion victims with the gala, but you know, the trendy Wendy fucking Potter. Um, and so that was quite a good night, but it was like they were just living on the one night. Everybody was drinking water, or, you know, so they ended up losing it and it got took over by the bailiffs. Scouse guy called Billy Kimblett, who's sadly not with us anymore, he took it over. And I think we had like another year with Billy before it actually closed down. And it closed down on Pride weekend, August, Manchester Pride weekend. And the very last night was on the Saturday night of Pride,
yeah,
1993.
yeah,
Well, then Paradise had opened. I think that was the May of 93. So all the number one crowd, it's sort of like just, I don't know, it went up in the air a bit. Um, so then another club, I think the Vinya opened the State, and we had like an event on at the State. Paradise was going. Um, it was a great time, a bit too handbag for me, but I enjoyed the Saturday nights on the ground floor. It was a bit more harder. I think they brought trade up as well for quite a few weeks, well, a few months, I think. I think they did a few events at Paradise, which were really good as well because it was bringing that music up. So we were in a bit of a leeway after the number one closed. It was just like, all right, so where do we go? So the State opened. I think they did a few things. Then Brennan Glendon uh, took over Central Park and opened a night called Strange Ways.
Do you know
So
what,
that
Tiger?
didn't open.
I've been watching clips
Yeah,
all over the weekend, and I've been
yeah.
putting.
Nigel's got some belters.
Yeah, he said I could do it, so I've been putting 1 minute clips on TikTok, and young
Yeah,
people discovering it, and they are fascinated, and it's
yeah,
getting massive response. And do you know when I'm looking at the clips, I'm thinking, wow, this was really, really special.
yeah. And it was the first time I think the Hacienda got the 4 a.m. license. I think they were the first. Not sure how Glenn and Brenda got the license for there, but it was like 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. when we
Yeah,
first started.
yeah,
So Strange Ways was going, I'd say about 6 months. And then something happened with the management and with Mike, the DJ. I think they sacked him and
yeah.
he set up in what was Icarus
Oh yeah, I
downstairs.
forgot
And we
about
had an
that.
alternative. There was two going. So it was like, which one are you going to go to? And I think Mike's was getting better or Central Park weren't making enough money to for the night and what have you. And I think the guy who owned it at the time was called Ian. So I think Glenn and Brendan had sacked Mike over something. Then Mike Allen had a chat with Ian, and then Mike came back, and Glenn and Brenda got, I don't know, just removed from the club. The event type thing. So then Danceteer, no, Safeways, they tried to change it too, but then Safeways complained about the name. So they had to change it again. And that's when
It
it
was a
became
rubbish name, wasn't it?
Danceteria.
It was a bit of
Pardon?
a rubbish name, wasn't it, Safeways?
It was great. It was Brett, Glenn and Brenda. You know, they've been doing other events after Pride, after they've been
The,
doing events, but they were quite,
the
I
night was
don't
good, but
know.
just the name. I mean, just the name, Safeways for a club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that thing, and then Danceteria took over. And it just sort of like boomed. It started off with like 6 hours, free till 9, then it's free till 11. Then on the Sunday, everybody would sort of like go home about 8, 11 o'clock, go to chill out or wherever they were going. And then they'd come back. They'd be back at the club at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all changed, all fresh as anything for another night. And that'd go on until Monday morning. And you'd see people stood at the bus stop across the road from the Thompsons, all going to work or getting on the next express. Everyone's coming out of cafeteria. What's the fucking face this? Um, so it was great. That's a part of that time period.
Yeah,
And then also when we used to do London quite a lot as well. We'd start off in Manto, go to Paradise. We'd do Paradise till about 2. Then we'd go to Breakfast Club, which was in Manto after the bar had closed and the club had closed. They'd reopen it and start the Breakfast Club, which was great. They had some great DJs, great people. All the door staff were fabulous. We knew everybody. So it was just no problem. It was a really free place to go to. Um, and then we go and get on the train at 7 o'clock, arrive in London, 10 a.m. in the morning, go and queue up at Trade for an hour, maybe 2, just to get in it. That's on the Sunday. And they were going right through to
yeah.
London. I think Mel had come on Sunday night with, what's she called? Not Princess Julia, the other one. Well, Mrs. Wood and Blue. I'm terrible with the names, Paul.
Yeah, it's a long time ago though, isn't
Blue
it?
Peter, Blue
Yeah.
Peter. So they'd be on at Mel, not trade night, the Melt night on Monday, or it was the FF Club. That was it. It's the FF on Sunday. So we'd go down to London, do the FF on Sunday, and then come home. So we'd go out on a Thursday and we'd not get home until Monday lunchtime. And that was like for 10 years.
Tiger, you've been absolutely amazing.
Oh, right.
We've got about 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
So just tell us about your mint group, your charity
Oh,
work.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up starting my Mint group 10 years ago. It's our anniversary now in October. So the bit when the village sort of like changed over, I think the council moved in, the police moved in because of the drugs and stuff going on and everything. So Jeremy Joseph came up from London and opened the club, SH1T, we call it, not GAY. Opened that and changed the door policy. So the door policy was regulars only. And it was like, well, how do you define a regular? We've been here,
Yeah.
we built this fucking street.
Yeah.
We've been here for 20 years. And anyone who was over 21, 23, 24-ish weren't allowed in the club. So there was like a big hoo-ha about it with all the village. And it was like, how could we stop stop regular people that have been here all the time using one of the bars. So I ended up having a meeting with Jeremy, with Tracy in the New York, and it was like your pricing on your drinks. I think it was like 65p at the time per drink, and it was like you're going to kill the village. You're going to, all the independent uh, bar owners that, and most of the bars were independently owned. They weren't owned by the breweries. So it was like, you're going to kill it, with that door policy and with your drinks policy. No, 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 it's not going to affect anything. And it was like, yeah, it fucking is. Oh, he didn't listen. He didn't do it. So it was a bit in thingy to that door policy. And I thought, how dare this fucking queen come up from London and tell us where we can go or when we can go.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll just start a group, maybe 300 of my friends, and we'll organise events. We'll say where we're going, which bar we're going in, and it
Yeah.
won't be up to this new door team to say where we're allowed to go. We'll decide where to go. So I set up initially thinking that it was just going to be like 300 of my mates and we'd just organise little events. And if there was any profit, we'd give it to the charity, one of the charities, especially George House Trust or the Albert Kennedy Trust that was looking out for the kids that were homeless.
Yeah.
So it was like, no, we'll just organise some events. So I did one initially upstairs in the New York. And while I was stood on the door, Mark Wallace was out in the village and came past and he was like, what's this? And I said, oh, I've just started a night to bring the older crowd and the regular crowd together. So we've got somewhere to go rather than the door staff telling us where to go. So Mark was saying, oh, that's really interesting, blah, blah, blah. Maybe I could do some flyers and stuff for you. And it was like, oh, all right. And so then Mark came in the club, took a few pictures, and we carried on talking then. And then it was like, I don't know, it was just back with the group and the thing. And Mark said to me, oh, everyone just thinks it's like some money earner for you. You're just doing it to like make money. And I was like, well, I'm not really bothered about the money. It's more about bringing our community and keeping them together.
Yeah.
So he says, like, well, I think you need to do it all for charity rather than, giving people wages. So I said to him, well, if that's what you think, then that's what we'll do, Mark. So me and Mark never took any money for doing anything.
Yeah.
We used to do pay £100 expenses, but we wouldn't pay £300-400 for a DJ or something. We'd use our friends that were just as good, that knew the script and everything.
Yeah.
So that's initially how the group started, and then it just, I don't know, it was like it started with me, which is Manchester in '93,
Yeah.
which was when the number one closed, and everything sort of like went up in the air.
Yeah.
So it was like trying to rethink that time of, in 1993 when everyone was friendly, everyone was good, everybody had to dance, and there was no hassle anywhere. Everybody was all loved up. So it was like, sometimes I lose it. So it's like then the group sort of like just exploded, um, where it was just like the 80s crowd were coming in and they were saying, hey, what about us in the 80s? What about us from the 70s?
Yeah.
And it's all like people that had never been in contact before suddenly all became contact because they were all like my friends that I knew off the scene and they all knew each other, but they didn't really know each other than hi in the club.
Yeah.
So it sort of like brought everybody together. And now we've been going 10 years. I think we've had to stop though because of COVID, because a lot of our members are older. So when the lockdown came, it was like, I'm not doing no events and anyone gets poorly, so we stopped doing them. But we're thinking that we might come back next year
Yeah.
and do a party for our 10th birthday. Um, and hopefully the whole team will come back together and we'll do that.
So, Tiger, I'll just end it there. You're an absolute
Okay,
legend.
no problems.
Thanks so much for doing that with me
Well, I
today.
hope you've enjoyed talking to me,
Yeah,
Paul.
it's
If you
been
like
brilliant.
that, I'll come
Yeah.
back.
So just gotta stop recording now, mate.